Welcome and thank you for coming to the junior meeting. Today we are going to discuss post-high school planning and things to consider when you're making your plan. This will include the college search and application process, along with some information about testing. I would like to start with two defining important aspects you should be considering when thinking about post-high school planning. The first is an understanding of being career and college ready. To be career ready is to possess the skills that will increase one's marketability and employability. The 4 C's of communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity are not often discussed when we think about being ready for a career. However, many managers would tell you that these critical skills are going to be found in every job, and it's something that you do on a daily basis in and outside of the classroom. Many of you would be considered college ready after graduation. You will have the academic skills in the 3 R's known as reading, writing, and arithmetic. You will use these for your post-high school education and training. These skills are needed to qualify for and succeed in entry-level, credit-bearing college courses and to earn a credential for work. You will need to decide where the next level of post-high school training comes from. The video I shared in your email last night highlights the need to think through these decisions. College is certainly one piece to get to that post-high school education, but is it the right place based on your career interest? If you did not watch the video, you can find it in your email, and I'll also post it to my Google Classroom after this presentation. The important aspect that you want to consider is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, sometimes that's not one specific path to one specific career. It could be something where you navigate through a lot of areas, all of them based on your skills and abilities. You also want to make sure that the career that you're looking for matches your skills and abilities. Again, the video I shared with you last night goes in depth on this. What type of training do you need to make what you want to happen? The career that you're looking for is going to match your skills and abilities with your interests. You're going to earn, on some level, additional certificates, associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, or beyond. You need to know what is the right level of education based on the career that you're considering. Here you're going to see a table, and this is from 2019, so it's fairly up to date, where you look at the level of unemployment along with earnings alongside somebody's education. You've probably seen this before many times, where you can see anybody with a high school diploma or below has the highest rate of unemployment, and those with higher levels of education are least likely to be unemployed. Equally, you've probably seen this where the higher level of your education, the more money you could expect to make. And again, if you watched the video last night, what they're going to share with you is this is only one small part, but it does not give you the whole picture. So you want to think about more than just employment and earnings. Certainly these are important pieces, but it's only one piece. There are many choices for you after Rochester High in terms of getting that post-high school education. Vocational training, the armed forces, community college, a university, and the workforce. What is an apprenticeship or vocational schools? Well, we already have these available to you at OTech. This is where you go someplace where you're going to learn hands-on skills along with a little bit of book work in a very focused manner. Everything that you're going to learn is going to be applied directly to the job that you will be performing. Community college is a place where you could go and certainly get the level of education you would need to start a job. They have a lot of 2-year programs that are a perfect match for most students looking to go in and go right into work. They also are a good springboard if you're thinking of going on and furthering that education. Many students will go to a community college and be working, getting training on that level, and also doing some community college level skill building that they will take into their job. The armed forces is something that we don't often talk about, but this is again a place where you're going to get some hands-on learning, much like a vocational school, but you're going to be doing it in support of our armed forces. Many people think that going into the armed forces means that you're going to be put in harm's way on a battlefield. The truth is, the majority of jobs in the military are in support of those troops and protecting America. So there's many jobs that you could pursue here and then build on. The best part about the armed forces is that they actually pay you and you can get your college paid for free. So this is a great springboard for many students that are looking to do some type of technical job and then want to come home and build on it and a college atmosphere or go right into the world of work. Lastly, one that's often overlooked is the workforce. There are many, many jobs where you simply can't get the knowledge and skills you need without being directly involved in that job. So nobody should ever overlook the power in the education associated with the workforce. Many of you probably already have jobs that took training in order to do that job. That training might have lasted a week, might have lasted a couple of days, but it would be still considered training and education. I know many of you want to focus on the university and college aspect of this presentation. We talk about these things all the time, really since you were in middle school. What are colleges looking for? How do you get in? Obviously, the thing that you most often see is discussion of the GPA, your academic performance. How well did you do in the classes that you had? We also talk, and you continue to get some testing in the areas of college ready testing, known as the SAT or the ACT. Colleges also look at what type of classes are you choosing? Are they rigorous? Are they going to be close to what the type of work you're going to do for that university? Some colleges look for rank. Rochester Schools actually does not rank our students any longer, so you don't have to worry about that. Many colleges will offer an essay, and some have that as a requirement, some do not. This is just another way for you to share information about yourself. Remember, there is no interview process when it comes to college. So if they want to see who you are beyond the academics, beyond the transcripts, they're going to want you to answer some questions just so they can get a more personal picture of who you are. Recommendation letters is not something that every college asks for. In fact, most nowadays don't. So don't think simply because a college is putting it out there that is something that they're looking for. And usually they're only looking for one from a teacher or somebody who can speak to you in the classroom. Another thing that's often overlooked are what are your interests, meaning what are you doing outside of the classroom? Remember, they're evaluating for who will you be when you come on that college campus. And the last thing is your commitment to that college. So when you get an opportunity to express to any school that you are committed to them, that you've been wanting to go green or you've been hailing blue for so long, you want them to know that you're excited about joining their institution and why. But I don't always want to focus on colleges wanting you. This really is about you and what's right for you for your long-term career plans. Okay? What you see here is a really nice Mercedes-Benz. And I want you to think about considering colleges like you're making a large purchase, much like you would make the large purchase for this vehicle. So it's about what are you looking for from the college, not so much what are the colleges looking for you. You are the purchaser here. So you want to think, what characteristics do you want in your college experience? Because this is an investment into yourself, much the way a car or a home is an investment. This money that you will spend is going to give you earning power. It's going to take you down a career path. And you want to make sure that when you choose that college, it's matching what you were searching for. The first thing that I would want every student to think about or consider when they're looking at a university is the programs. Remember, you're going to college to get skills to make you more employable. So you want to make sure when you're looking at a university that they have the major or the minors or the programs that are going to match your career interests. What you see here is a Central Michigan University description of a biochemistry major. Students who may choose this major could be a doctor, but you could also see Central gives you some career options that you could use with this major. You can also see that Central gives you a career outlook. Remember, you don't want to go into a career just because it sounds good. You want to make sure that you're actually going to get hired. Many students that end up in debt are students that go to a university, get a college degree, and then they never use it. So now that earning power that the college degree should be giving them is being wasted. You want to make sure that you're checking out these programs when you're looking at a university. You can also see here on the right, it tells you exactly the classes you are going to be taking. Again, you want to look at your skills and abilities. Now, if you were somebody like me that really struggled in the science area, all of these science classes would not be a good fit for me. Because while I might want to go into a field using this information, simply learning it and executing it, I would not be doing very well. So you can always check these things out on any college webpage. This should be your first stop whenever you're evaluating a college. What will my college major look like, and what skills will I be getting through the classroom? Other things to consider, much like if you were buying a car, what are the options, right? So we know the car works, we know it turns over, it's going to get me from A to B. But what are my options? Do you like schools that are larger in size, or would you like something a little bit smaller, so where you know your professors or you don't have large classrooms? You want to consider the school size. Location, this is another huge one. Do you want to be living in a city, a rural area? What types of things will be in that community? That should be an important aspect, as well as how long will it take me to get to school? Will my parents be able to come visit me when they want? Will I be able to come home when I want, or will I have to buy a plane ticket? Costs. Certainly, how much does each credit cost you is something that you want to look into. What scholarships or financial aid programs, grants that they might have. Many colleges nowadays, simply applying to the university, they will consider you for most of their scholarships, but you might also want to see if there's some departmental or private scholarships. Campus activities. Obviously, you don't want to be in a classroom or library all the time. What else is there for you to do to have that college experience that you're looking for? Academic reputation, again, often overlooked, but they might have a program you're looking for, but is that the type of program that employers are looking at with a good reputation? Is it going to take you someplace? I always say simply looking at the name of the school and expecting that because you went to a big name college that you're going to get big name offers, that's not true. There are some smaller schools that do have better programs than some of the larger schools. Public and private school, you want to consider this because it will directly relate to your costs as well as the size of the school. Private schools have more of an ability to provide you with scholarships, but that doesn't always mean that you're going to be paying less than what you would at a public university. Now, if you looked at a private school out of state, you would be paying less than you would at a public school out of state. So you want to consider those things. And then lastly here, support services. Is there tutoring available? Is there career development? Can you do mock interviews? Do they help you find a job after college? These are all important considerations when you're evaluating in a university. So what do you do once you have this information, or where else can you find it? Well, the internet obviously has tons of information. Last year, most of you got started out on Zello. This was an excellent, excellent tool for evaluating different colleges, programs, careers across the United States. So it's one central location for a ton of information on careers in college. Catalogs, now I know this is old school, but sometimes you can have a college send you some mailings, some information. College representatives, you need to think of these people as the salesmen and women for universities. Just like if you were going to buy a car, somebody would come out, walk you through the process. They would talk to you about the options. College representatives are there for you. You can get their information and contact them anytime you want. Not only that, the reps for our buildings are going to be the people who first evaluate your application. So it's good for them to know who you are and to know how interested you are. It could go a long way. Every year we do a college night. This year it was held virtually, and many colleges are continuing to have informational meetings virtually. You could start that process anytime you want. Also, campus visits obviously are currently limited to virtual visits, but a lot of those will still allow you to ask questions and to meet other students. Again, I would say to any student, why would you ever buy a $100,000 car if you've never kicked the tires or taken it for a ride? You could still go with your family and drive through the campuses, because remember, you're going to be living there for 4 to 5 years. You want to make sure that you've checked it out way before you're moving in. Okay? Counselors, teachers, parents, alumni, these are also people that you can speak to give you information. And then once you've compiled that information, you need to start making a checklist for that campus visit. Have some questions that you're going to ask. So when you're in that virtual visit, or you're finally getting to take that tour in the spring, which is the best time to visit, you want to make sure that you've done some of your research. You're not just walking around hoping that they're going to inspire you. Know why you're there. Have good questions that you're going to ask. Again, if you were to buy a $100,000 car, I would have hoped that you've done some research before showing up at the dealership. So once you've narrowed down your choices, I would say every student should at least have a top 2 to 3 colleges. Don't throw all of your eggs into one basket hoping that that's going to be the one and only place. You might be surprised. If anything, it might secure the fact that you want to be at the university you chose once you've gone and visited some of the other ones. You want to make sure to review your college admissions requirements. You want to know what types of ACT or SAT scores as well as GPAs that they're looking for. Just because you want to be at a university, it doesn't mean that that's the right university for you. And those test scores as well as GPA requirements are going to give you a signal, is this the right college? You're going to want to go through a 3-step and sometimes 4-step process when you're doing your applications. It doesn't have to be done in any particular order. It just all has to be done to be considered a completed application. Every school has their applications online. So during the first week of August is when most applications, including the Common App, open up. You're going to fill out that application. You're also going to need to send them a high school transcript. This is your record, and it's going to show all of your grades from 9th grade through 11th grade. The next thing you want to make sure that they receive is your ACT or SAT score. This is something that students could get a jump on right away when we take the SAT in the spring. You could, at that time, share your SAT scores with your potential colleges, and that would be one check off of your list. I know most students want to wait and see how well they did, but the truth is you can continue to retake those SATs, and the colleges really won't mind. They don't hold it against you. It's not going to hurt you by taking multiple SATs. And then lastly, for some schools, there is a letter of recommendation that might be required. Again, you want to do your research, know who's going to ask for those recommendation letters. Okay. Scholarships, I like to throw this in here because we do have scholarships that you can apply to, and the deadlines are right away, like starting September, October. So know that your scholarship search could be beginning in the summer. I discussed Parchment. This is something as juniors you could start right now. You could go on to the Parchment website and begin opening up your account. You can use the button on the counseling website. It says transcript request, or you could go directly to their website and you're going to go in and start an account. When you are starting your account, you can either use your Rochester email, or if you've started a college email, you can use that one. I highly recommend starting a separate email account just to address your college applications and anything college related. You're going to want it to be professional, could be your first and last name or something around that area, but it's much easier to have all of this information into one place. There are some videos available, so if you want to go on and check out how do you establish your account or how to send a transcript now, you are welcome to do so. It's a fairly easy process. Once you've established your account, you're simply hitting a button that says order. You're going to type in the name of the college that you're looking to send the transcript to. Now, if you're using Common App for applying to, say, University of Michigan, you're going to send this transcript to Common App. Or if you're sending it to the NCAA because you plan on playing NCAA sports, you would send it directly to them. But once you've typed in the name of the school or the destination, you're going to click through continue, and your transcript will be on the way. It's a pretty easy process. Letters of recommendation. Now, again, I've said this time and again, you don't always have to have a letter of recommendation for your college application. I still highly suggest having at least 2 to 3 letters, if you can get them, from people that know you and that could write a good letter for you. You might ask why. Well, when you get to colleges or if you're trying to get a job, oftentimes they will ask for these letters. So if you wanted to do an internship or if you wanted to get a job at a college level, they're going to want somebody to vouch for you, much in the way that colleges are looking for a teacher or somebody who's seen you in an educational institution speak on how did you show up in the classroom or outside of the classroom. So this is just somebody else's words to describe you. Now, it helps to give teachers or counselors some type of resume or something that shows here are the clubs or activities that I was participating in. A lot of the times we don't realize how many things that you're doing, you're volunteering outside of the classroom. So these are the types of things that make a good letter. So your summer preparation should be, again, I'm compiling all of my research, I'm narrowing down my choices. Maybe I have somewhere from 2 to 5 colleges. I've prepared a resume for the people who are going to write my recommendation letters, and I'm going to be ready to start filling out those applications August 1st. Many times, if there are an essay for a college, they will release those prompts in the summertime or even earlier so you can get those essays started. This is usually the longest part of an application, is having to do the essay. So some good things to know. There's different types of admissions. Rolling admissions means they're going to continue to admit students about every 3 to 4 months. There'll be another group that goes through. Most students will be invited to early action, meaning if you apply by a certain date, usually it's November 1st, you'll be able to know early on, did I get admitted to the university? Early decision, I like to make sure students are aware of this. If you see something that's early decision, make sure you're reading the fine print. This is usually a legally binding decision. It's basically saying no matter where I get in, you are going to be my first choice and I'll forgo any other school for your university. So make sure you know the difference between early action, that's just knowing as early as possible, versus early decision. It's when you're making a legal commitment. Your decisions types are going to be admitted, deferred, or denied. Deferred does not mean that you won't get in. It could mean they need more information. It could mean that they had an abundance of students apply and they're going to wait to let students know, but they're just letting you know that you're still on their list. This also could mean that you could be admitted for another, instead of the fall, you could be admitted to the winter. So deferred doesn't necessarily mean no. You would have to get a denial for an outright no. Other things that you should know is starting October is when the FAFSA will be open. This is a hugely, hugely important thing to fill out. Even if you don't want to take out a loan, this lets public and private schools know exactly how much you can pay. So if they had additional money they can provide to you, again, especially private schools, This number through the FAFSA allows them to evaluate you for that additional money. Let's talk about testing. Oftentimes students want to know, well, what is the difference? Which test should I take? Because the university accepts both. You can see here, ACT and SAT are two different tests. You can see in the ACT, the scoring is different. The highest score is a 36 versus a 1600 for SAT. You can see that there's more sections in the ACT, but it's a shorter test. 2 hours, 55 minutes. I know it doesn't seem like much, but SAT is a 3-hour, 2-section test, right? There is a math section in both, but that math will show up a little bit differently. The reading section for the ACT is going to be much smaller than the reading writing section for SAT. There is no science portion on the SAT, but the ACT does have a science portion. All schools are going to want you to have at least one SAT or ACT with an essay. So make sure that you are completing that. And you want to make your choice. Which one of these tests seems to lean more into my area of strength? That will be the one that you're going to want to focus on. How do you prepare? Well, I will tell you, if you've been doing well in the classes here at Rochester, you will be prepared for that test. Our school has a really good baseline score that most students are going to meet. But if you're taking classes like honors and AP, expect to score higher because you're learning more than the average student. There is preparation classes and workshops you can look into. The public library or bookstore is going to have some preparation materials you can purchase. But if you want something for free, you could use Khan Academy. In fact, you can use your PSAT scores from 9th and 10th grade to connect with Khan Academy. So you're only studying for the areas that you need to work on instead of studying for the entire test. Khan Academy is free. I've gotten a lot of really good referrals from that. So that would be where I would tell you to start. Again, retaking an ACT or SAT is not a bad idea. Statistically, you can raise your score most of the time. It might only be by 2 or 3 points, but it could be worth it. If you're looking to get a scholarship based on an ACT or SAT score, or if it makes the difference for admittance. Again, colleges do not care how many times you take the test. All they care about is your best score. Remember, they want to admit you. You are the consumer. You are what keeps colleges going. So if you can give them the information they're seeking in order to admit you, they're going to be very happy. So I would always send schools your scores and let them sort out which one is the best score. So to wrap up today, I have some dates for you to consider. April 13th is when you will take the SAT at Rochester High. It is a graduation requirement for all juniors, but of course, most of you are going to want to take it because it is a college entrance exam. If you're looking to get some additional tests, I have some dates for you. I personally think those dates in April and May are really good dates while the information is fresh, but you can always look to June for either one of these tests, and certainly there's going to be additional tests in the fall. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I'm going to follow up this presentation with an in-person question and answer period. This video will be posted to the Google Classroom, so if there was something that you missed and you want to refresh your memory on, you will be able to find it in my Google Classroom. And again, I highly recommend watching the video Success in the New Economy for some different perspectives on choosing your college path. I will now take questions from the chat.
Okay. Hopefully you all made it through that. I know sometimes staring at a screen and listening to a presentation can be tough. But I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about college, the college application process. I can even look into some information about financial aid. So any questions that you have, please throw them into the chat and I will answer them for you. If you don't have any questions, you're happy to sign off. If you think of a question later on, You can always email them to me, or if you'd like to set up an individual Q&A time, I would be happy to talk you through this process. All right, so the first question is, when will we get our PSAT scores from one that we most recently took? You actually can, if you have a College Board account, so if you've taken an AP course, then that PSAT score will be in your College Board account. It's all one area. It has your SAT, your PSAT, and your AP. So you should be able to look there to find your electronic scores. You also can go in, and I have directions for Google Classroom. I'm going to pull those up here, where you can, to show you how to connect those scores to Khan Academy. So if you go into Google Classroom, and this is for the 2022 students, and you go down here, 11th grade to-dos, start practicing for SAT, it's free. This will show you how to find those scores and then connect them to Khan Academy. So lots of good information here in your Google Classroom on top of this presentation, but how to get your scores and how to connect them to Khan Academy is in there. If you have trouble, I can always get on a Zoom call with you and share your screen, and we can walk through any problems. Other questions that might be out there? Again, just type them into the chat and I'd be happy to ask. Some things that I would love for you all to do right now is to go in, create your Parchment account. Again, this is the only way to send a transcript, whether it's to Common App, Coalition, to any university, NCAA, however you want to send a transcript, the way to do it is going to be through Parchment. You can start that account anytime you want. All right, well, thank you, Ian. So your College Board account is telling you it's going to be available between December 9th and 11th. That's going to be the date. It generally takes 6 to 8 weeks. You might find that they show up earlier. I don't actually get those scores sent directly to me. There is a way for me to go in and check. So if you don't get your scores prior to winter break, I'm happy to share them with you. But I would also go in and see if you can do that link up to Khan Academy. Other questions, thoughts? And if the point wasn't taken there, to me, the best thing that you want to consider when you're thinking about after high school is where is the best place to get that education. To be honest with you, it's not always going directly to a university. It really depends on the career path you're taking. So you want to make sure that you understand, why am I going to the university? How is this going to help me with my career path? You might find that a community college might meet your needs, or going to even the armed forces or vocational school, that might meet your needs. So make sure that when you're looking at evaluating what you're doing after high school, then there's a connection there for you. And again, I'm always open to individual meetings if you want to talk through these things. All right. Well, if there are no further questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting. Thank you all again for coming. I hope you're all doing well. I miss seeing you all in the hallways and being able to talk to you. I will be posting all of this information in the Google Classroom before the end of today to check out. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the week. Take care.